Stephen A. What's good, baby? Good to have you with us.
First of all, I'm honored and privileged to be with all of y'all. It's great seeing y'all. Thank you so much. And my brother right over there. What's going on, Big Time? How are you?
It's good to see you,
my
friend.
And you're absolutely right about Bud. He looks bigger. He looks ready, no doubt about it. Errol Spence still looks bigger. We expected him to come into the fight looking bigger, so there's no surprise there. But Bud looks completely ready. Completely ready.
We always see you talking about the fights. We don't always see you at the fights, right? Why was this the one that you were like, I have to be here?
Well, first of all, I'm allergic to scrubs, and so what happens is, that I'm gonna come to the big fights any chance that I get if I don't have studio obligations. I'm not just coming to just any fight. I watch it all the time, but to be in attendance for it, oh no, it's got to be worth it. And I look at this fight. Listen, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, the trilogy, what the fight ended up being. Because Deontay Wilder looked dead in the third round, and then Tyson Fury got dropped in the fourth twice or whatever before he finished him off later in the fight. But the hype leading into it wasn't that. To me, this is the most hype for a fight since Mayweather-Pacquiao. And I think it's worth it. And I think this fight is going to be significantly better than the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight ended up being, because Mayweather, being a brilliant magician defensively, can beat you backpedaling. So he'll hit, not get hit. These guys, I don't believe, know how to run. And so as a result, they can move, they can box, they can jab. They're exceptional defensively, but they're going to be there. And I'm not saying it's going to be an all-out slugfest, but it's going to be a fight. Make no mistake about it. And this, to me, you're talking Sugar Ray, Hearns, one. You're talking Hagler, Hearns. This, to me, has the potential to be that kind of caliber of fight.
One of the things that's so good about it, right, is it's so freaking hard to call which way it's going to go. It's a 50-50 fight, essentially. You kind of got stuck in that, because I think following your build-up to this, you picked one, then you switched.
I didn't switch. I told them the list is fluid. It's fluid. Okay, I picked him today, but I'm not thoroughly convinced.
So one day out, where are we?
I'm at Crawford by decision right now. Here's why. I watch Crawford, and he can go conventional. He could go southpaw. I believe he can fight better at a distance. I think that not necessarily running away, but backing up to some degree, picking the spots, looking for the spectacular. All of those things are true about him. Errol Spence Jr. strikes me as somebody, watching him throughout the years, just methodically chops you down. I don't view Terrence Crawford as somebody who's going to be right there to be chopped down. He'll be there to fight, but not to be chopped down. He'll step back. He'll pick his spots. He'll pick his moments. He'll fight at a distance. And he's got a slightly longer reach. He brought power with him. And I just think that mean streak that he's got, listen.
They both have mean streaks.
They both have mean streaks. But again, I just think that Errol Spence methodically breaks you down. Terrence Crawford comes to take you out. And I think there's a difference, and I think that's the kind of thing that can make a difference in this fight. But the list is fluid. It's fluid.
I will say this, one thing just to consider.
Sure.
Who the hell knows how it's going to go.
Right.
Crawford is notoriously a slow starter. I do wonder how long it's going to take for him to make that first adjustment, and how many rounds, as a consequence, Spence could bag. Again, it's all hypothetical, but that is something that you have to take into consideration if it goes the distance.
Well, first of all, not that hypothetical coming from you, because you know your damn boxing. That's number one. Number two, you look at Errol Spence. He starts off slow sometimes as well.
Behind the jab, though. He's pushing it.
You're absolutely right, behind the jab. With Terrence Crawford, he knows how to utilize the jab, but he really doesn't have to, because he believes that he can take you out. In this particular instance, he's fighting against the bigger man. And fighting against that bigger man, who is Errol Spence, who is undefeated, who can take you out of here, who can chop you down, I think you'll see Terrence Crawford implement his jab in this fight more so than we've seen in fights past. Whether that works against Errol remains to be seen, but I can see that happening.
Any truth to the rumor they are going for Crawford because Spence is a Cowboys fan?
Well, I don't know whether there's any truth to it or not, but I will say this. Of all the things that Errol Spence Jr. has to be worried about, he does have to be worried about the fact that my sources tell me several members of the Dallas Cowboys are going to be in attendance for this fight. That's the proverbial black cat running around. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, they can jinx you. So you have to be fearful for that, because the Dallas Cowboys, who haven't won a Super Bowl since 1995, hasn't been in the NBA NFC Championship game since 1995, them showing up to support you, as much as I love Jerry Jones, I'm just not sure that's the kind of support you need. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure.
As a longtime resident of Washington, D.C., I second this.
on a serious note, if I may, do you believe Errol is the same guy since before the accident? That, to me, is one of the big questions heading into this. He's only fought twice.
I've interviewed him twice. I've spoken to him and friends of his, obviously, in the profession. They all say he's the same. Me, personally, I've always questioned that. I mean, that kind of car accident, thank God he's alive. Thank God he's still healthy enough to be in this position, that he's been blessed with that. But the flip side to it, to watch that accident, to watch how vicious it was and how many times that car tumbled, it's just hard for me to imagine that had no physical lingering effect on you in some way. Maybe Danny Garcia, Ugas, Porter, and others wasn't able to show it. Terrence Crawford has the potential to show whether or not it's had an effect on you. Now, I don't know the answer to that question. I pray that's not the question, but I will openly confess that religiously I've brought that up as a concern that I have when it comes to Errol Spence.
Hey, one thing before you go. Terrence and Errol stay wearing their black Air Force Ones. How do you like that energy?
I like the energy. And listen, I'm just looking again. Errol seems the same to me. Terrence Crawford, he seems a bit more intense. Whether that's going to work for him against him remains to be seen. He looks phenomenal physically. He looks bigger. He looks stronger. You got to wonder whether or not that could potentially work against him from the standpoint that if you feel you're bigger and you're stronger, you might be on an attack in such a way that you expose yourself to something you may not need to expose yourself to. Going up against a quality fighter like Errol Spence Jr., again, it remains to be seen. We don't know. But he looks ready, and he doesn't look like he's coming here to go 12 rounds. I will tell you that.
Stephen A. Smith, we appreciate you coming through.
Don is all mine. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Enjoy the fights.
Yo, legend.
Do the same. My man.
Good to see you.